Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The 100 years of Brahma's life are divided into two parts, the first half and the second half. The first half of the duration of Brahma's life is already over, and the second half is now current. Purport. The duration of one's 100 years in the life of Brahma has already been discussed in many places in this work, and it is described in Bhagavad Gita 8.17 also. 50 years of the life of Brahma are already over, and 50 years are yet to be completed. Then for Brahma also, death is inevitable. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So, yesterday in the class, we heard that how every living being has an experience of 100 years. Those 100 years may vary from one living entity to another, from one planet to another. Time is relative. So, from our point of view, Brahma's life compared to our earthly years, it's phenomenal. It's quite huge. Trillions of years. So, one might feel that Brahma does not have to worry about death. We have to worry about death because after 30 years, 40 years, we have to die. Brahma, trillions of years. It is not so. Even his life is passing very fast. Just like, for example, an ant or maybe a small insect. Prabhupada gives example of this when the rain comes. Those insects which hover around the lights, they take birth and one night their lifespan, and morning they are dead. So from their perspective, we are living 100 years, 365 days, 365 years of their 365 lifespan is 1 year of ours. And like that, 100 years. But in our case also the time is passing and we have an experience of 100 years. So here Brahma, already 50 years is passed. And after 50 years, Prabhupada writes in the purport, death is inevitable. So in Sunday classes in Powai, once when we were taking the sessions, after the session, when I was going out, one person, in India, people may be pious, may be religious. If they are religious, they have heard from many sources. They would have gone to many religious institutions. They would have heard Bhagavad Gita or read Bhagavad Gita from different source. So they have some preconceived understanding of religion, spirituality. So one day after the session, I was going out. It's husband and wife. So he had become close also because he was regularly attending. He told Swamiji, आप लोग बहुत अशुभ बोलते हैं. हर सेशन में डेथ, ओल्ड एज, डिजीज, जन्मा मृत्यु, जरा व्याधि, बार बार वही बात बार बार. थोड़ा शुभ बोलो. And he was very, very vocal about it. Generally, people also say that you have to be a little positive, you have to be optimistic. हाँ, बुरा बहुत कुछ हो रहा है लेकिन अच्छा भी हो रहा है, उस पर आप ध्यान दो. Just today, before the class, on Vedabase I typed death. How many hits, How many places in Vedabase death is mentioned? 17,173 times. 17,173 times death is mentioned. Old age? 3,368. And diseases? बहुत सारी diseases हैं. So 5,539. So if you see, Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses are there, 18,000 verses Bhagavatam. It's a phenomenal number, 17,173. That means on an average, although it may be letters, every purport has some word, death. So are the Bhagavatam or scriptures scaring us? Are they being negative? Are they talking about inauspicious death? Actually, Bhagavad Gita is opening our eyes to reality. Death, old age, diseases is an objective reality. Objective reality means it is truth. You can choose not to face the truth. You can choose. For example, Prabhupada gives example that when a rabbit is being chased by a lion in the forest, the rabbit runs for its life. At one point, it realizes it cannot match the speed of the lion. So what does the rabbit do? It sits in one place, closes the eyes, and thinks that there is no lion. In English, there is a saying, ignorance is bliss. There is no lion. So we can also ignore the reality. We can deny the reality. We can close our eyes to reality, but the reality does not change. It's a harsh reality. So Bhagavatam is confronting the reality. And we are facing the reality. It is not only saying we have to die, it's not only scaring us, but it is telling what in human form of life we can do about it. How we can find a solution. It says that human form of life is an opportunity to find a solution to birth, death, old age, disease. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha, doshanu, darshanam. One to understand that these are the real challenge for which we have to find a solution. He is in knowledge. Once there was a king, and in earlier times, then they used to have sabha, assembly. So assembly house, there were serious discussions used to happen. Ministers, courtiers, all the other people would be assembled. And just for making the environment little light, they were gestures. Gestures means थोड़ा बहुत हंसी मजाक करते थे. And they were kept just like, rasas, different rasas you want to enjoy. Krishna also, when he wants to have the fighting rasa, so he comes down. Outside in the spiritual world, there's no demons. So they used to have gestures in the court, in the assembly, who would once in a while crack some joke or make the assembly light, more so because some serious discussions are going on. So one time the assembly was on, the discussions were going on. Some minister came and gifted the king a very, very costly ivory fan made of ivory. Chamar kind of a thing. So the king received it and he called the jester. He says, "Aao idhar aao." The person came right in front of all the assembly. He said, "Rakho apne paas, keep it with you. और तुम्हारे से ज़्यादा मूर्ख अगर कोई तुम्हें मिले तो उसको दे देना. Give this fan to someone who is more bigger and grander fool than you." So insult हुआ सबके सामने. Praise in public, criticize in front of everyone. He's saying more fool than you're already a fool, but find a greater fool and give the fan to him. And gave the fan. He felt insulted, but somehow he kept his calm and waited for time to take revenge. So years passed by, the jester had not forgotten. So time came when this king had become very old and he was on the deathbed. Very old, very frail, almost stopped eating, very sad, sullen face. More you have enjoyed the material world, more attachments you have, more luxuries you have, more will be the pain. When you confront the reality that you have to leave everything and go. So the king was completely sad, tears in his eyes. So the jester came and said, "How are you, sir? Kaise hain aap?" He says, "Not very good." "But why are you crying? Why are you so sad?" He says, "Very soon I have to embark on my inevitable journey. Very soon the angels of death will come and I will have to leave." So he said, "Which journey you're talking about? You're very old, you're lying on the bed. Which journey you're talking about?" Again he said, "You fool. Don't you understand the inevitable journey which everyone has to undertake one day?" So the jester said, "Sir, so you have made all the preparations. You told it's inevitable journey. You have made all the preparations for the journey." He says, "That is the whole issue. That is the problem. That's why I'm sad. I have to leave everything. I have to go now." He says, "Sir, this fan is for you. Who can be a greater fool? You knew that you have to embark on this inevitable journey, but you did not make any preparations for it." Same is the case with all of us and people in general. This human form of life, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, "Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajti ante kalevaram." If you ask anybody what is definition of success, everyone will give different definitions of success. Success means you have, done good to the world, you have contributed, you have added value. All that is good. It's a relative truth also. Yes, you should do good, you should help others, karopakar. But from the self perspective, Bhagavatam says that real success is, we can say, certify that this person has led a successful life. What is the measure? Anta Narayana Smriti. If a person has left the body being conscious of Krishna, chanting Krishna's name, he has led a successful life. Recently, one devotee left the body, and we have worked many years together. And when we work together, there will be some disagreements, some fights, part of life, some misunderstandings. So I was thinking, when the devotee left the body, number of contacts, collection, all that is immaterial. Nobody even recollects. So what really matters is how we advance in our consciousness. How much we become. In fact, it's a fact that we may big projects, but Krishna, Prabhupada is utilizing us while we are building this project, we also build ourselves. It's a fact. We all should be aware. This project, the cost is nothing. It's a small builder in Jaipur will be building 50-80 crore ka mall. Baju mein jo mall ban raha hai, here some pink mall, something. Their budget will be more than us. And we are 100 people, 100 devotees. It's not a big amount from even a karmi point of view, even from Krishna's point of view, it's a peanut. It's small, insignificant. One person, good karma, he gets 100 crores. One diamond merchant, he spent 40 crores in his marriage of his daughter. And we all will go through a struggle. 4 years we'll be struggling. For Krishna to sanction 30 crores, 40 crores, small, insignificant thing. Elon Musk, he bought Twitter, $44 billion. $1 billion is 7,000 crores. 8,000 crores. He purchased $44 billion. So more important is, while we build this temple, do we build ourselves? Do we learn the lessons? Do we learn dependence on Krishna? Do we realize that I am not the doer? Kartaham iti manyate. Vimud Atma. Does it humble us? That is the project which Krishna is working on. While we are working on this thing, we'll go through anxiety, we'll go through this problem, this difficulty, that difficulty. But Krishna is taking us through all this difficulty so that we build ourselves, our remembrance of Krishna. And if we build the project and we don't build internally, then actually it is not success. Then that ghamand will come, that ahankara will come. Oh, we build this temple, we build this thing. And it will be very displeasing to Prabhupada and Krishna. And how does that building internally happens? Internally happens Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day anarthas will come up and then we'll hear something and we'll no, this is wrong. This is not what we should do. This is not how we should think. This is not how we should speak. While living, one may be proud of one's body, thinking oneself a very big man, minister, president, or even demigod. One may think, I'm a big man. But whatever one may be, after death, this body will turn into worms, into stool, or into ashes. Mother passed away recently, so he was explaining. So he went for cremation, burnt the body. And after 2 days, I think you have to go and collect the ashes. So he was explaining that, everything is burnt, just the bones are there. It's all gone. And you have to just collect it. Wo rakh, it's just ashes. And here it says one may be a president, a big man, a minister. It's a reality. It's objective reality. One day we have to face it. One day our predicament will be also the same. So while we are dealing with this world, we should always remember, and that is what Bhagavatam is doing. That's why 17,000 times it is mentioned. One time it mentions, we will not realize. Time and again it mentions, so that it reinforces that understanding that one day we have to go. There was a farmer. He was quite God conscious, was quite knowledgeable, and he got married, and with great difficulty, eventually, after trying for many years, he was blessed with a son. And they kept the name of the son as Haru. Haru was the name of the son. What? Haru का मतलब क्या है? Not Haru, not from the point he is a loser. Some other meaning may be there. Haru was the name of the son. So after many years they conceived the child, they got the child. And one day the child became very seriously sick. Doctors were called, treatment was there. They went to the hospital. It was diagnosed as cholera. And eventually in a couple of days, in spite of medication, he died. Only son. So the entire family was completely devastated, crying. The mother was consolable, weeping, crying, screaming. But this farmer, who was quite knowledgeable, quite God conscious, he was very calm, sober. In fact, next day morning, he even went to his fields to attend to the work. So when he came back from the field, the wife confronted him. He says, "What kind of man you are? You have not even wept. You don't have any attachment to your son." He said, "To tell you honestly, last night I had a vivid dream. बहुत स्पष्ट याद है मुझे, बहुत क्लियर मुझे याद है. I had a dream. In the dream, I was a king and I had 8 children. And that was a very clear dream. बहुत अब पूरा याद है. अब मैं confusion में हूँ. I am in dilemma. I am perplexed. Should I die? Should I weep for the 8 children? Or should I weep for Haru? I am now confused. I am perplexed." Anyone can explain what is the meaning of this? Why he is saying I am perplexed? Narahari Prabhu. सपने में मर गए. सपना टूट गया. Daydream and night dream. This life is like a daydream. Dream means what? Dream means experience is real, but there is no objective reality. Experience is real. In the dream, that's why if you are being chased by a tiger or something, you will actually pant for breath. You will be fearful. Suddenly you wake up and oh, there's no tiger. All of us have had some experience of bad dreams. Experience is real, but there is no reality. When you get, after all, it was a dream. That's why this world, Prabhupada says, this world is real. Material energy is real. It's energy of the Lord. But all the experiences, this body, it's all temporary. In one life, we have an experience that I am a king. Another life, I have experience I'm a beggar. Another life, I have experiences. It's just like a drama. One drama ends, the next drama comes. Or one same person, if he's a dramatist, he will be playing different dramas, different roles. Even in same drama, sometimes because of shortage of players, they play different roles. The same person will become Sipahi, the same person will become this thing. So he was saying, should I weep for those 8 children whom I had experienced being a father of in the last night, in the dream, or should I weep for Harun? That's why Krishna in the Gita says, Dhiras tatra na muhyati, a sober person who knows the truth. Agama paino anityas tam titikshusa bharata. This all will come and go. A person who is aware. In fact, sometimes devotees, if you happen to go to some funeral or something, it may so happen that you may not cry, even of your near and dear ones. It may so happen. Happens. So others may feel, what is this? He has become stone-hearted. कोई feelings ही नहीं है आपको. सिर्फ कृष्णा के प्रति feelings है. So that can happen because it's not like a person, devotee is hard-hearted. It is just that he is able to, again by the grace of the Lord, Divya Gyan Hridaya Prakashito, he is able to see the reality. He is able to see that anyway one day we have to go. So this devotee who recently left the body, I was telling you about, his daughter. So this devotee spent a lot of time with the daughter, homeschooling the daughter. So my parents met the daughter young, about 8 years old. So, I mean, it's expected. She is the only daughter. No brothers, sisters. And father spent most of the time with the father. The father has left. She's 8 years old. She was very calm, composed. So my parents, when they spoke to her, she said, "Ek din sabko jana hai." Good, my father went to Vaikuntha. He was suffering so much because he was having some terminal disease. Good, he has gone to Vaikuntha. He will now be with Krishna. She is not weeping because there is no attachment or this thing. It's because she has that understanding. That's what Krishna says. Dhiras tatra na muhyati. A dhira, a sober person, is not bewildered by such a change. If one can chant and hear Hare Krishna and always remember Lord Krishna, then he is sure to become fearless of death, which may come at any moment. Again, why a devotee becomes dhira? Why he becomes fearless? Abhayam. Because, again, when one chant and hear Hare Krishna, always remembers Lord Shri Krishna, then he is sure to become fearless of death. A lot of people actually are fearful. Fearful of economy, fearful of their jobs, fearful of what will happen, fearful of if the war happens, another pandemic comes. Yes, we all are so concerned because we are living in that ecosystem, it also impacts us. But beyond a point, we are not fearful. A lot of people are fearful, rising prices, petrol ka daam badh gaya, ye ho gaya. I mean, in one sense, we should be grateful, it doesn't affect us. One may make his living conditions very pleasing for the senses, but despite all favorable conditions, one must in due course of time meet death. The members of a demoniac civilization endeavor to make their living conditions very comfortable, but they cannot check death. The influence of Sudarshana Chakra will not allow their so-called material happiness to endure. Alexander, we all know, he conquered many, many kingdoms. Eventually, after conquering many kingdoms, he was returning back home. And some of you may be aware, it is said that he was very, very attached to his mother. And realizing that he has become old, realizing that in those days it was not like, you catch a flight and in 8 hours you are in another country. So you travel by horses, chariots, it takes months and years. So he was with his army trying to return back to Greece, and he was old, he was sick, and he realized that very soon he'll have to leave the body. And his desire, his wish was, anyone knows what was his last wish? Anta Mother Smriti. To meet his mother and see her for last one time before he leaves the body. And he was very desperate for that. So he was there on the deathbed, very sick, very old, and all the doctors, his ministers, confidants were all gathered around him. So realizing that his condition is deteriorating day by day, he may not be able to reach Greece to meet his mother, and the doctors are trying their best. So he called all the ministers. Is there someone? Is there something? Is there some way I can get few days of my life so that I can reach Greece and meet my mother? And in exchange, I am willing to give half of my kingdom, half of my wealth. Pin drop silence. Nobody came forward. Nobody came forward to utter a solution. And then few more days passed by. Now he was getting very desperate. It was started becoming very evident that he will not be able to reach Greece. Out of desperation, he says, is there someone who can exchange few days of his life, and I'm willing to give the entire kingdom, my entire wealth? Again, nobody came forward. And then Alexander said, alas, the entire life, so many days, so many years, so many months, I fought and conquered so many kingdoms, so much of wealth. But today, when I am desperate for some days, all this has no value. It cannot be exchanged for few days of my life. Alas, I wasted my life. This realization everyone will have. Everyone. In fact, they have done a survey. What are the regrets people face when they are at the deathbed? They have done a survey. What are the top regrets? So they have surveyed, and I don't remember now, maybe in some other session we'll discuss. What are top 8 regrets people have expressed when they die? Everyone dies with regret. Alas, alas, I could have done this. I could have done this. I could have spent more time with the family. I wasted my time. So everyone will have this regret. Only a devotee who has developed his attachment to Krishna, only a devotee who has developed his attachment to chanting the names of Krishna. That's why if you see during Prabhupada's Leela in 1977, Even till the last date, Prabhupada was dictating the Bhaktivedanta purports. Although physically, at a very material level, body was extreme pain. All the organs were failing, is not able to eat. But consciousness-wise, everything is moving as per the divine plan of Krishna. This consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. He was not worried, he was not, wriggling in pain. He was peaceful. Now somebody will say, how peaceful? Our body, a lot of pain was there, a lot of this thing was there. Transcendental peace. What is this transcendental peace? This transcendental peace, sometimes we mix up things, and it is also expected as neophytes. We equate peace to material peace. So therefore, we sometimes, even some service where there is some problem, we shrug from it because it disturbs the peace. But Krishna is telling Arjuna to fight the battle. Definitely it's not peaceful to fight a battle. In fact, what Arjuna was saying was much better option. I will peacefully stay, I'll beg and live this thing. But Krishna refused that. Actually, Bhagavad Gita is for all of us, for the entire humanity. It's a lesson. What we have to aim, in this material world, material peace will not come, will never come. People are trying because material peace means if we make one condition, just like Prabhupada gives example, prison house is not meant to be peaceful. Even for devotee, material peace will not come because old age will come, disease will come, death will come. But what devotee should aim for and can achieve is transcendental peace. And transcendental peace is just a crude example. Crude example we can get from the ocean. You see ocean, mighty waves, big ships get swayed in the mighty ocean. But in that same ocean below, the water is completely still. You'll find small fishes, corals, they're all floating. So likewise, in our consciousness, if we are Krishna conscious, if we are dependent on Krishna, if we have faith, avashya rakshibi Krishna ma, I vishwasa palana. I am serving Krishna. Krishna is my protector. He will take care. He will provide. For sure it will happen. If Krishna desires. If I am aligned with Krishna. If it is Prabhupada's wish, it will happen. That brings transcendental peace. That's why, what is that verse which says, mudra, Vaishnavas, kriya mudra, it is very difficult to see and gauge a Vaishnava by his activities. We'll get misled. So this is what we should aim for, to be Krishna conscious, to develop our dependence on Krishna, to strive to chant the holy names nicely. That is a real project. In fact, if we are not developing on that real project, improvement, definitely short-term, long-term will be frustrated. Sometimes, again, MPP, in some lectures, he talks about somebody who, I want to preach, I want to preach. Yes, preaching is important. Janma sarthaka kari, karopkar. And it is not that, okay, now for next 20 years we have to do Janma sarthak and then paropkar. Parallelly, in fact, more important project is Janma sarthaka kari. If Janma sarthaka kari is happening well, Krishna will use us as paropkar, will use us as an instrument. They also want instruments. If Janma sarthaka internal development is not happening, the pace is not there, then we are not good instruments. Anyway, Krishna Prabhupada will use us. And we can get frustrated, we can get this thing, and we can say, what is this? Confusion here, life is mess. All this kind of bewildering thoughts can come. We'll stop here. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.